Hey Pisceans, how y'all doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to be doing your first half of September general reading here. I'm so happy to be back with y'all. So let's get right into your meditation. Listen, I saw stills from, what is that? It's a movie called Amadeus, and it's about the life and times of Mozart. I saw the words divine catastrophe. I saw the Piscean collective. First of all, it felt like it had a lot to do with what you're very good at, right? Your artistry. If we think about Mozart, right? Obviously, he was a just immensely talented writer, musician, lyricist, composer, actually really not lyricist, but composer. And he was the, penultimate example at that time and after of, what a child prodigy was, right? Because he was a child prodigy. I mean, he was the example, and his music has lived on in infamy, right? So there's something to that. This whole divine catastrophe aspect of it feels like this divine frenzy from which you come out on the other side with this deep and very real sense of inspiration and clarity. But it does feel like this very because if you it doesn't matter if you've seen the movie or not. Mozart towards the end of his life, at least as it is depicted in this particular movie, he just is driven to this point through loss and sorrow and pressure and money woes and illness. I mean, everything is thrown at him towards the end of his life, and he died pretty young in this movie. And through all of this, he works himself up into this frenzy where he actually he doesn't, necessarily mean to, but he ends up killing himself because he's just so overrun and overwhelmed with a lot of different challenges at one time that manifest physically. And it's just like this, sort of accumulation of stimuli that overruns and overwhelms him. I feel like in this context for y'all, there's this sense of a build, almost like a volcano, this sense of a build or a tsunami, a build, where you are being asked to hold and handle and transmute and absorb and heal and discern and all of these things at once. And I see this image of the Piscean collective walking through a supermarket. And for every item you put in your basket, spirit or the universe or whatever have you adds two more, not of your choosing. You go and add, some Nabiscos, and spirit adds, two of something else, right? 2 laundry detergents. And you're like, I don't need 2 laundry detergents. I don't need that. Yet it's in my cart and I have to deal with these laundry detergents. I have to find a place to put these laundry detergents. This ain't even the brand I like of laundry detergent. See where I'm going with this? There's a sense of, there's a lot going on, but I got to tell you what comes out the other side of it is I see you being awarded with this sense of like, wow, it's like this purge. It's like a 10 of wands. That's what it is. It's like a 10 of wands where you're holding a lot, you're carrying a lot, but when you're finally able to put it all down and relinquish it, you have nowhere to go but to the Ace of Wands, which you come out just re-energized, revitalized, just completely out the other side of it in a really beautiful, positive way. Okay, let's talk. We got the Lamb and the Dragonfly. Yes, we do. Lamb and the Dragonfly. Let me tell you something. When the Lamb comes up, childhood or children or that sweet sort of 6 of Cups-esque love is involved, right? So this could be your advice I'm picking up on, which is about, first of all, look at these big ears. Look at these big, beautiful ears. Good for what? Good for listening with, right? There is this sense here that I'm getting to be very gentle with yourself right now. Do whatever it takes to nurture yourself. Be patient with yourself. Because the Dragonfly is very much like an Ace of Swords. I'm hearing in dream time as well. I'm hearing to observe yourself and how you speak to yourself. Do you speak to yourself like you would speak to a child that you care about? And it's interesting that this is coming up here too, because Mozart in that film was very much portrayed as having a childlike sense of wonder and habits. And he sort of enjoyed life from this perspective of, you know, why can't I have all and more of what I want? And I'm living for this moment, and I'm just gonna, I don't want to live by any restrictions or rules. He was very much a, you know, very childlike energy in that film. So I love that it's coming up for you now. Let's see what's going on for y'all. Also, the Lamb does equate with like a Page of Cups, which is like a younger, you know, like I said, childlike, fresh, sensitive energy. And I'm really getting that that's your advice right now, Piscean. It's really cool. Beautiful. I love when the Lamb comes up. Some nice earth energy there for you. Yeah. So we have the Six of Wands here. So Six of Wands is public recognition. It's about being acknowledged for the work that you've done, but also what you in particular are good at. So we're also going back to that sense of your personal genius or your personal take on things, the way that you personally, uniquely are, right? That's what the Six of Wands is all about. This is also victory in a way that other people can see as well. I do feel like some of you guys either have a public platform or you're working towards having a public platform. It's cool though. The wands denote the actions we take and what we're passionate about. And it's beautiful. I'm getting November is going to be an important time for you, but it feels like really, really good and nice. Also, I want to point out the dragonfly equating with an Ace of Swords kind of energy also represents writers. So some of you guys could be writers or writing or journaling or something about the written work, because I also, Mozart, you know, composed. So there's something about your artistry and the work that you do and writing and all of that good stuff. So Ace of Cups, I mean, hi. This is beautiful, Pisceans. Listen, this is a lot of intuitive insight, right? But I want to point something out. Well, it's also self-love, but I want to point something out. Do you see how this cup is overflowing? Remember what we saw about the grocery basket, and every item you put in, Spirit adds in 2 more, the universe adds 2 more, your higher self adds 2 more items that are not of your choosing. There's just a lot going on and it's overflowing here. Yeah, I'm getting a very specific message around self-care, especially as it equates with the Lamb and the dragonfly. How the quality of your sleep, how much you sleep, your wellness, your health. Listen, I'm hearing to really do whatever it takes to ensure that you are treating yourself as well as you would treat a child that you truly love. You're going to make sure they have their snacks. You're going to make sure that they have their nap time. You're going to make sure that they're bathed. You're going to make sure that they feel loved. You're going to make sure that they have toys to cuddle with, that they have movies that they like to watch. See where I'm going with this? That's what I'm hearing your advice is. All right. I mean, King of Cups. So King of Cups, beautiful masculine energy here. You know, this is really, really fascinating. This is also making a lot of sense. King of Cups, he feels deeply, but he is able to tap into his mental sphere to let his emotions inform him from a somewhat removed perspective. I'm really drawn to the fact that he's like sitting on top and the cup is below him and this cup is overflowing. I feel like this is your journey during this time, is moving to a place of King of Cups. Right now, it feels like, again, that 10 of Wands, and if I had to equate it to, you know, a cup equivalent, I would say a 10 of Wands with bridging between a 7 of Cups and an 8 of Cups, where it's just, it's a transition. There's a lot going on. You're being asked to kind of tune back into yourself and allow your emotions to inform you. But I'm really hearing to allow yourself to be a bit of an air sign about this. Right? There's something to that. I also love the moon with your energy here as well, being a Piscean. Interesting. I'm getting Old Man in the Sea, which is, well, personal note, it's my favorite book of all time. It's by Ernest Hemingway. And it tells the story of a fisherman who is considered, you know, incredibly unlucky in his village because he went so many days without catching a fish. But then he embarks on this journey where he goes out to sea to catch this really big marlin, and he survives all of these different elements and just Everything is thrown at this poor man in this boat, but he makes it back victorious, and everyone in the village crowds around to be like, oh my God, you caught this big marlin. Now when he rolls up to the shore, the marlin is only a skeleton. He's not going to make any money off the fish, right? But it's the fact that he made the journey, came back and survived it, that earns him this newfound respect within his town. And you just know that at the end of the story, people who were refusing to fish with him because he was considered unlucky are now going to be lining up to join his boat, right? So there's that sense here, right? It's that reward after a long journey into the unknown and perilous sea. You have the 9 of Cups here. Hi. To clarify the 6 of Wands. So this is really, really interesting because I'm very much drawn to the butterfly. Let's talk. Traditionally, the 9 of Cups is a lot of something. Yes, there is an aspect of wish fulfillment. Absolutely love that. But I'm more drawn to the fact that this can be about excess, overindulging. But I feel like in you guys' case, some of you guys are underindulging, right? Skipping some self-care things to focus on other things, whatever that looks like for you. But there's this aspect here that I'm really drawn to about the butterfly. You cannot rush the metamorphosis, right? You have the egg, and then the butterfly turns into the caterpillar, which goes into its, actually it's a chrysalis if it's a butterfly, and then it turns into goo and it comes out this beautiful, fully formed butterfly. You cannot rush that process. What good is a butterfly with 1 wing? That's what I want to ask you. What good is a butterfly with only 1 wing? There's something about and to that. I feel like you guys you've garnered some success or feeling of accomplishment. You've reached a certain sense of momentum around something, but you're being asked to sort of look at yourself and your relationship to your self-care and your process. It feels a bit taskmaster-esque, right? For some of y'all. But there really is this feeling of understanding that again, with all these cups like piled up, there's just a lot going on here, right? With all these which is good. Like it's nice that you have a lot going on, but there's also this sense of going, okay, but where am I in all of this? Like I can take my time with this process. Everything will be there when I'm ready for it, right? I just heard wasted time. I just heard, I don't want to waste any time. I don't believe in wasted time. I just don't. Like, it's such a counterproductive thought pattern. There's no such thing as wasted time. They're taking me back to this lamb, this idea of a child. Children don't buy into wasted time either. They're like, they could sit there and, a really little kid could sit there playing with the cardboard box for hours and be like, what you mean wasted time? I had the best time of my life. I had this cardboard in my hands and I built a castle in my mind, and then it became a boat, and then it became a throne, and then it became an airplane. There's something to that. The Fool. Absolutely beautiful. The fact that it is clarifying this Ace of Cups realness energy, it's interesting because I'm really drawn to the fact that this load is on the ground. He has let go of this load to leap with both feet in, with a brand new cycle here, right? Interesting, huh? The question could be as well, what is in your given circumstances that have no place in terms of where you're going or where you want to go? What in your load wants to be released and put down so that you can fly higher and jump further? This Ace of Cups is giving me big self-awareness vibes as well. Really, see how that crow is looking at himself in the reflection? There's really something to that. Also the fact that Dragonfly has to do with dream time and Ace of Swords energy as well. King of Cups. Wow. Yeah. 8 of Swords. So 8 of Swords is restricted vision, right? It's that mental prison. You hold the key, yada, yada. You know what I'm really drawn to here? The fact that this is a mole and he's blind and all of that good stuff. This is really brilliant how this is depicted here. Remember how I said that the King of Cups, you're being asked to be an air sign about it? And then we have the 8 of Swords. It's interesting because, yeah, that's a good point. you can be an air sign about something or take an air sign-esque approach, and it can really set you backwards. It can turn into like analysis paralysis, which is what I equate with the Eight of Swords. This is my analysis paralysis key. But you can also be an air sign in the context of just giving yourself enough distance from your issue, problem, or point of focus to gain some much needed clarity, and suddenly you have that eureka moment just by taking a step back from it. And that's what I'm getting from this. But look at this. It's like you have this mole coming up here just surrounded by these swords in the darkness, and then you have this King of Cups sitting on top of the problem, sitting on top of the issue, sitting on top of all of the stimuli in the cup. Right? So it's interesting. And again, do the moon in the darkness here as well. I also feel like there's this energy of, wanting and being advised to walk in faith right now, though you may not know where the road may lead. There's something about walking in faith right now. And again, you're always going to have your emotions at your disposal. They will always be there to inform you, especially as the intuitive Pisces that you are. That's your zhuzh. That's your birthright. That's just will always be. You don't have to worry about anything happening with into that, right? Dream time, especially for you guys, right? But there is this sense of going, okay, if that's working for me, then I can tap into my mental facilities and really observe myself, right? And say, okay, I'm just going to take a step to the side of these feelings. I have a lot of them, right? And I'm going to observe my reaction to the feelings. I'm going to observe the origin of the feelings. I'm going to observe the feelings themselves, right? There's something to that, right? I do feel like you're being asked to see what you're not seeing, okay? But from this guise of childlike love, compassion, and patience, okay? Love it. Let's get an oracle for you guys. I am feeling the vintage. Yes, I am. Ooh, I just pulled a card off the top. We have more butterflies. Yay. Butterflies. Yeah. I'm also hearing any of you that have children in your atmosphere, in your life, whether they're, relatives or the next door neighbor's kids or whatever have you. Feels like there's a lot to be gleaned from observing them and or spending time with them just playing. Yeah. All right. Ooh. Oh, yeah. Ancestors. Is that not a child? With her parents? You best believe. This is really, 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 really beautiful because again, there is this energy here of your younger self, of your, younger energy around you. Would you speak to a child that you love the way that you speak to yourself? I also, and I was feeling this earlier, I wanted to ask you, what have you inherited? In terms of belief systems, your relationship to money, your relationship to yourself, your relationship to work, your relationship to love, your relationship to self-care. What about that have you inherited from your ancestors, your family, your parents? What did you observe as a child that may be coming up for release right now, or at least observation right now, right? As an example. Why is it always so difficult for me to make money? I feel like the minute that I get a little bit of it, a bill comes up and I just don't get to hang on to any of it, right? And why is that my pattern? Why? And then you're journaling about it, or you take time to think about it or meditate on it, whatever have you, and you go, oh my God, my parents were the same way. I grew up watching them struggle with money and it flying out the window as soon as it came in, and I'm realizing that I inherited a belief that money is difficult to come by and impossible to hold on to. And thus, that's what's coming up for me in manifesting. Now, you can equate that same example to love, to, success, to home love, whatever that is. But what have you inherited? And what is actually yours? You have the opportunity, right, to get very clear about that, to lay down whatever loads or inherited belief systems or patterns or energy, right? to release that and move on and make a new chapter for yourself, and also change the pattern for your future descendants or other younger ones in your family as well, of whom you will be an influence, or to whom you will be an influence, right? Yeah. It's just really beautiful, Pisces. Really, really beautiful. It feels very significant as well. But it feels like after this, you're going to be moving into a place that is just completely different and for the better. I want to say to you, it feels like if you take this out, because nothing happens without you, right? We are our choices, truly, truly, truly. Free will is very real. But this is an energy before you, and should you choose to accept it and do the work around it, it feels like there is a real ease coming to you. Remember, we're going from that 10 of Wands going to the Ace of Wands, right? It's that transition point. Pisceans, you got this. There's so much to be happy about on the other side of this. With that being said, this is your first half of September general reading. I so hope that this helped and resonated with you. If so, please do let me know in the comments below. I absolutely live for reading your comments, and I'm so excited to be back with you guys. With that being said, just thank you. Thank you so much for being here, and as always, thank you for being you. And be well. Until next time.